Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our Lucha Underground review. And again, for the second straight week, I really feel like Lucha Underground this season has turned a corner, and they may prove true the adage, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Because for the second straight week, man, what an amazing episode of Lucha Underground. We got some quality matches, and most importantly, at least on my side of the table, a cinematic that has got me more invested than ever to close the show. But I want to hand it over to my cohort and commentary, Ashton. What did you think about Lucha Underground last night?
Yeah, man. Lucha Underground last night was really good. I definitely agree with you that with episodes 13 and 14, they really kind of have found their stride for season 4. And I'm really glad that they have, because I was getting a little bit worried that it was taking a little longer and maybe they wouldn't find it at all this season. And we would just have to wait until season 5 to get the Lucha Underground that we know and love back. But it's back. It's here. We got it. It started last week. It continued this week. It's been great. And it's continuing to be great. And really, I would say, as far as this specific episode goes, there was a lot of good until the third match, and then it became great.
Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment, I think, on the whole. So with that said, let us get right into our Lucha Underground review. And partner, how do we open this baby up?
Well, Avi, we always open Lucha Underground up with a recap, and the recaps are a good way to kind of figure out what storylines we're going to be getting updated on in this episode. And this time we got the recap covering Ivelisse, Exolicious, and Joey Ryan, Pentagon and Cuerno, Katrina and Mill, the Katrina-Melissa fight from last week, and of course, most importantly, arguably, Phoenix's resurrection. So that was huge. We obviously, once we get to the actual temple, we get the band playing, we get commentary. They tell us that Phoenix is back, and for everything they've done in the temple, the Lucha Super Friends have been given a trios title shot. But that's not the only title that's on the line tonight, because Ivelisse is challenging El Dragon Azteca Jr. for the Gift of the Gods title, and that ended up also being our first match.
Yes. I'm just going to say very quickly about this match. Great match. For me personally, the best outing that Ivelisse has had in Lucha Underground, specifically in singles action. I feel like she has needed a match like this for a long time. This is also where my only nitpick of the show comes in, honestly, because it was a great match. I mean, Ivelisse really was holding her own. Not only holding her own, at points she was straight up dominating Azteca. The nitpick is kind of two-pronged. I worry that Azteca may be a little too OP. Like, I get wanting to look strong before you potentially challenge the world champion, especially when the world champion has the presentation and the aura that Pentagon Dark does. I think booking a strong character in wrestling is always a tightrope, because I think there are ways that you can do it without ever bringing into question, well, are they strong or are they just straight up invulnerable? And I'm starting to think that, maybe Azteca's invulnerable a little bit, which is kind of a less attractive quality to me for a Technico. And just kind of on the other side of that, Ivelisse, she got her finisher in this match, the Desert Eagle, that Sunset Flip powerbomb. And she got it, though, in the aftermath of Azteca missing a sick springboard with his face hitting the railing of the steps. It was nasty looking. I'm like, oh my God, that's the biggest opening Ivelisse has. And Azteca's still kicked out. And not only that, but I feel like a slight disservice was done to Ivelisse. Again, in her best outing in singles, she's looking great. People, I think, are starting to look at her as an upper mid-card to main event player in Lucha Underground. And then she loses to, what was it, a middle rope? Or maybe it was a top rope leg.
No, it was off the middle rope. I was a little bit annoyed by the fact that it was off the middle rope, because, we had the whole discussion about the last time we took a leg drop seriously as a finisher was friggin' Fandango at WrestleMania in 2013. And then I found out he didn't even win with the leg drop in that match. He won with a friggin' roll-up. So even then, I can't even remember the last time we took a leg drop seriously as a finisher. It must have been Hogan. I can't think of another option, another example.
I just feel like that did a disservice to Ivelisse. And I'm not going to say it ruined this match, but it definitely left me a bit perturbed at the end. Especially because we knew I think most of us knew anyway, that Ivelisse probably wasn't going to win because clearly the more dominant story as it relates to Ivelisse is Exolicious and Joey Ryan. I just feel like you could have segued into that in a way that was more smooth and didn't like take just such a such a blow to her credibility. How do you feel about it, Ashton? Are you with me on this?
Yeah, like I'm kind of with you as far as it's okay that she lost. Like I'm cool with the fact that she lost. I didn't expect her to win. I just wish that they would have just not had her lose in such I don't want to say dominant because it wasn't really dominant, but she lost very conclusively. Like it's very clear that she's not as good of a fighter as El Dragon Azteca Jr. Like there was no, it didn't feel fluky. It didn't feel like she could have beat him if only this other thing might have happened. It just felt like straight up he beat her straight. Like that's just it. So
right.
I mean, if the goal here is to make El Dragon Azteca look like a really viable contender for Mill, or God, I'm thinking Mill's winning the title already. I hope that happens next week, but it might not. But for Pentagon, then that's fine. But I mean, it really, I feel like maybe the issue, it's kind of similar to the Dakota Kai issue in NXT is we are used to Ivelisse as a trios competitor, but she doesn't really have that much credibility in singles yet. So maybe this was just not the right time for her to have this match, and maybe she wasn't the right opponent for Azteca tonight. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. That's certainly fair. It's just, again, I wish they could have handled this a bit differently. Even if the leg drop was from the top rope, to your point, that would have been a bit more believable than just a middle rope leg drop, especially, again, after everything Azteca endured by comparison.
Well, and then there's also kind of the issue of him not being able to do the satellite DDT to her. Like, it's... The thing is, like with the satellite DDT, you need a bigger, stronger base, and Ivelisse is one of the very few people in the temple that isn't bigger or stronger than Azteca, and because of that, he wasn't able to get off the satellite DDT because that is like a counter. That's like, and you know, as far as like in ring, as far as actual like kayfabe perspective, it's a counter to somebody throwing you, but in real life, like in actual like inside baseball, it's literally just you need the person to be strong enough to be able to throw you like 3 feet into the goddamn air. And that's obviously not something Ivelisse can necessarily do that we know of. So, but yeah, man, it was still a good match. It was still a great showing from Ivelisse. It was just kind of a weird situation where it doesn't really feel like she's very credible yet as a singles competitor. I want her to be. I love Ivelisse. I think she's great in the ring, but so far it's like she's not really somebody that we view as like someone who it's a big deal to beat. So, it's not when we see somebody beat her, we're not like, wow, that was super impressive that they beat Ivelisse. At least not yet. Like, we should be, but she hasn't built up like that yet. So
just
kind of where we are.
Yeah, just kind of how I want to punctuate it on my end. Really thinking about it, you know what move I wish Azteca would have beaten Ivelisse with? Because he beat Desmond X with this move to win Gift of the Gods. I wish he would have beat her with the victory roll bomb. Because I feel like he could have done that to her. Like, because they had a top rope struggle in the match, except I think Azteca was the one person on the top rope, and then Ivelisse was the one coming at him from the other side. If they reversed roles, he could have done a victory roll bomb to her. And I could have bought that as a finish, because, again, he beat Desmond X with it to win the freaking title. So, I don't know. I just feel like there was a better way out of it than the one they chose. But, again, still, really great match between these two, and I hope it's a trend of, like, things to come for Ivelisse in singles. I already mentioned how Exolicious and Joey Ryan, they said that, Ivelisse did amazing out there, and she clearly wants gold, and they want gold too. So they're saying whoever wins tonight's main event for the Trios Championships, they want to make a run for them, and would Ivelisse be interested? And she seemed to be down. So we got Ivelisse, Exolicious, and Joey Ryan, and Exolicious even said himself that Ivelisse is no stranger to strange bedfellow-type tag teams or odd trios. So what do you think about this team, man? You excited for, the cinematics and just the overall dynamic these guys could have?
Excited. More excited to see how it's going to work than excited to actually see them in action. I'm more curious, are they going to have good chemistry? Are we going to get to see them kind of bonding in the back before they have any matches? Are they going to get thrown right to the wolves and maybe even, their first matches for the trios titles? That seems doubtful, but it's not impossible. Maybe we'll get to see them against a newly formed Rabbit tribe, and they could be almost like sacrificial lambs to the newly formed Rabbit tribe with Paul London and the White Rabbit and whoever else. Maybe it is the Dark the little. I mean, we're calling him Dark Mascarita, but it could be anyone, whoever the mini is that's in the dark outfit that was in the cage. So yeah, man, it's kind of up in the air. I'm curious how the dynamic is actually going to work between these three. It seems like Joey kind of has a crush on EXO, which is actually kind of amazing. But yeah, man, I'm not really sure how it's going to work. I'm curious. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm more wondering how it's going to work than like, oh, I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, I'm kind of both, honestly, because you mentioning the Joey Ryan crush on Exolicious, I could definitely see that being a source of tension, because I could see Ivelisse being almost like that sisterly kind of role, like trying to look out for EXO, because, I mean, Ivelisse has had a bad history with men in her own right with Jeremiah Crane and everything, and Son of Havoc and her didn't work out. And she clearly sees Joey Ryan as skeevy, so she may try and be like maternalistic in the sense of protecting EXO from Joey. And that could just be a source of tension within the team. In fact, that's the dynamic I almost feel like they're going to go with, because Ivelisse is a very fierce and like dominant personality, I'd say. And she's probably just going to see Joey being Joey, and she's probably going to want to shut the shit down. And then EXO may take offense to that, or she may be appreciative, but who knows? Like, EXO is kind of the wild card to me in this whole thing. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. But with that said, let's move on. What came after this?
After this, we found out that King Cuerno wasn't going to be getting a title match tonight, but he was going to have a match tonight against somebody else that Antonio Cueto feels like has been even more dominant than Cuerno in the temple and hates his guts. So we've got King Cuerno versus Mil Muertes.
Your thought, because I talked a lot during this first thing, so I want you to kind of take the reins on this. What do you think about this match?
Dude, the match was really fun. It was more brawl than wrestling match. It was a lot of strikes, a lot of, clobbering, a lot of kind of no-selling to show their toughness. It was almost a strong style match, honestly. The most impressive thing to me in the match before they went outside was that Cuerno managed to hit Mil Muertes with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. That was amazing. The power that you need to be able to possess to be able to do that to a man that's like 265 pounds like Mil. It's very impressive to me. But yeah, they end up spilling out to the outside and just continuing to beat the shit out of each other. Marty Elias, the referee, tries to pull them apart, and they throw him into the seats, and he ends up calling for the bell. Double disqualification, and then Antonio Cueto comes out and makes it a triple threat next week for the Lucha Underground title. Why? Because he doesn't punish violence in his temple. He rewards it. So next week, we're getting Pentagon versus Mil versus Cuerno, and Pentagon shows up, does Cero Miedo, and then we cut to commercial. So yeah, this was awesome.
You summarized everything perfectly. I'm not going to linger too much on that. I will just say that this is another reason why I do love Lucha Underground as opposed to WWE and other promotions, because I think in other promotions you would just rehash this match and maybe, but this time no disqualification, so this way we kind of circumvent the problem we had last time.
Well, and honestly, even in Lucha Underground, if we would have a 40 episode season, they might have done that. But it's condensed this season that they're really forced to move things along very quickly.
Yeah, and in this case, I can give them a mulligan on it. But I'm not even mad in the first place. Like, I feel like, that's fine. Like, you understand that we have a destination. You're getting to it. And plus, given the other revelation we've got about next week's episode, it's very clear that they wanted that episode to be stacked. But we'll get to that in a few moments. Great match. I agree with you. I'm really in King Cuerno's camp because he hasn't really contended for the Lucha Underground title on a personal level. Like, he's been in, like, the Aztec Warfares and stuff, but he's never really, like, had a one-to-one opportunity, and this still won't be one. It'll be a triple threat, but just seeing Cuerno in this picture is really where he belongs, because that stallion is fucking magnificent. So with that said, what came after this?
After this was our main event of the evening as far as in the temple goes. We got Drago, Aerostar, and Phoenix, the Lucha Super Friends, taking on the Reptile Tribe for the Trios titles. And man, this was really... the match itself was secondary. Like, the match was fine. It wasn't anything special. It was very much in the background to me because the actual story that was being told here was basically Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, dude, I want you again to talk about this first because you were raving in the best possible way, like, over Dark Phoenix. I know you loved how they presented him here. So walk us through this match and specifically, like, what Phoenix did and just what you thought about it.
Dude, I feel like the catharsis that we felt for Phoenix having basically turned heel and really gotten, like, more aggressive and being darker and you know, more angry and, like I already said, aggressive and stuff like that, is similar to the kind of catharsis we would feel if WWE ever turned Roman Reigns heel. Like this is the most needed heel turn in all of Lucha Underground, and it couldn't have come at a better time. It's perfect to me. I absolutely love that they finally decided to give Phoenix an interesting character that isn't just White Knight that's better than everyone else. That's basically what the character was before. Was he was a nice guy, he was kind of smug, but he could afford to be smug because he was just better than everyone else. So the fact that they gave him this now, I absolutely love it. I already told you during our last 5v5s that I actually prefer Ray Phoenix outside of Lucha Underground and like PWG and stuff to the Phoenix character in Lucha Underground because I just don't like the character. Obviously, he's great in the ring, but everything else that comes with the character I don't think is good. But this is going to make him do a 180 for me in the temple. I love that he finally has an edge, that he's finally at the point where he might still be better than everyone else, but he's openly being a dick about it, and people are booing him and hating him for it. I love that. It's Corey. I'm so happy about it.
Yeah, dude, this to me, this and the ending cinematic were the highlights of this episode last night.
Yeah.
Phoenix looked amazing.
Well, that's why I even said, like, this show was good until the third match, and then it became great. And maybe I should have gone out of my way to say and stayed great throughout the rest of the show, because this match was great because of the Phoenix story. And then, like you said, the post-credit cinematic was amazing as well.
Yeah, like, and I gotta say, because we're a podcast that, like, we address all elephants in the room and stuff, I don't want to part with this Phoenix, because we've been hearing Pentagon and Phoenix going to NXT. And now I really hope not. Like, I already wasn't hoping not, right? Or I already was hoping not. But now seeing this, I'm like, you can't part with this. Like, this is an amazing heel turn. Like, this, you use the word catharsis. I haven't felt this good about somebody turning heel since they let Johnny Mundo turn heel. You know, it's amazing. I loved the aggression. And dude, credit to Phoenix, like the performer underneath the mask, for the body language and the mannerisms of being zombified, from drooling, straight up drooling from the entrance alone.
Dude, yeah, that was even in the entrance. Like, dude, that was, I loved that. Like, he comes out after both of the other guys. So he's the third one out. So it's kind of implied that he's slower than them now. And not only is he the last, he's the last one out, but he's like literally drooling on his way to the ring. Like, he's got these just strings of spit just flopping out of his mouth, and it's gross, but it really does make him feel like a freaking zombie. I just love it. It's so good to me.
And not only, and I'm not laughing in like a Johnny Scumbag way, I swear. I'm laughing because the only thing better than this Phoenix, which is fucking amazing. I mean, you talk about rising from the ashes. Yeah, rising from the ashes of sheer annoyance. Again, to your point, being the White Knight and actually being a compelling character. I love everybody's reactions to Phoenix, like the environment that this character is in, because even from when he tagged in Aerostar's like, come on, tag me. And Phoenix is just burning a hole through him, just staring at him. And then he just chops his chest, and Aerostar's like, damn, man, God. And then when he goes off the ropes, and bam, super kick. And then when all this calamity is happening post-match, I know I'm jumping everywhere, but again, I'm just thinking about reactions. And you see Drago in the background saying, this dude's crazy, and doing the loco sign. I died. Dude, I'm already loving how people are reacting to this Phoenix, and how many times did it pan to Melissa being like, yeah, Phoenix, you got this.
I know, dude. I loved that. Yes, that was awesome. And then I love too the way that, like, not only was she like super uneasy about that, but then also, like, at the end, she was the first person to try and be like, what the hell's going on? And, like, I don't understand Spanish perfectly, but I know she asked him what's wrong, and then she asked him why he's wearing all black. And it's just like, wow. So you're not really concerned about the fact that he just beat the shit out of his friend, but his fashion choices, though.
I mean, dude, it was good. And then he shoves Melissa, and who's there? The Rebound. Al Dragon Azteca Jr. You know,
Of course.
You know, Melissa, I'm not possessed, and I own faculties. Like, dude, I know it was unintentional, and I'm not even saying it to denigrate the segment, I swear, but, like, this was some of the best comedy I've seen all year. Like, I had the biggest smile on my face, probably because something's deeply wrong with me, which is also a legitimate criticism. But my God, I'm just seeing all this unfold, and I am like, I am friends with all of this, because if this leads to El Dragon Azteca Jr. having to defend his Gift of the Gods championship against this Phoenix, that is easily going to be his toughest test to date, because it was already impossible to beat Phoenix when he was normal. But now, like, this really aggressive, drooling, whatever the hell, good luck.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm surprised, though, because, see, here's the thing we have to mention, though, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about it. First of all, great job on the Reptile Tribe retaining. This may mean that they are now going to go after Exolicious, Joey Ryan, or Evil East, or the other way around. Evil East, Joey Ryan, and Exolicious are going to go after them. One thing I want to mention, though, it's interesting to me that Phoenix, this deranged Phoenix, as I'll call him, had no qualms with Drago. Even did double team offense with him.
Aerostar,
dude,
I noticed
all the
that too. It was all focused on just fucking up Aerostar's shit.
The same guy who revived him in the first place.
Yep.
So, connection? I think so. But this was amazing. And look, I love Melissa. You can even see on live reactions, guys, how I had the same kind of inflection in my voice talking about her being hurt as I almost would Kyrie being bullied. But, like, you do make a great point. She's asking what's up. Like, you saw the matchup. You should have even noticed when he was, like, tentative to hug you when he was first revived. This isn't the same Phoenix. And I'm guessing Aerostar might have been a bit off when he said all that this Phoenix needed was time. Yeah, I doubt that majorly. But great match. Phoenix was the MVP, and it's just so great to say that with just 100% sincerity and just love this character. Is there anything you want to add, man?
No, dude, I'm just really happy about this development. It makes me really, really excited to see where it goes.
You and me both. With that said, let's get to our main event cinematic. Oh my God. Antonio Cueto, he's getting himself a bottle of Modelo. And he's sitting in his office and he's comfortable. And then you hear this, it's me! It's Marty! And Marty comes in the office. Marty the Moth, he's returned. We're getting an update on his campaign for the championship. And he takes a wad of cash. He drops it on Antonio Cueto's desk because he says, look, or excuse me, Antonio, he says, you know that you only care about my money, not anything about me personally or this and that. So he drops the money on his desk, and Antonio says, what is this for? And he says, well, if I remember correctly, it was that amount of money that got my sister Mariposa a Gift of the Gods championship match. So I want the same. And, after kind of talking about it a bit, he does grant Marty that match. So we know next week it's going to be Marty the Moth versus El Dragon Azteca Jr., which, given the Phoenix developments, I don't really know how that's going to go. We'll see. But then Marty drops another bit of cash. And then Antonio's like, okay, well, what is this for? And Marty says, well, there's something else I'm going to need from you. And before we find out what it is, the show fades.
Yep.
Now, Ashton, immediately my Wrestling 101 brain goes to, he probably paid for a stipulation, either Mariposa as special guest referee or something like that. However, we could be wrong. Do you have any ideas about what Marty might have paid Antonio for?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I almost have to wonder if he was like, I mean, I like your idea of him just kind of paying for favorable odds in the Gift of the Gods match, but there's also like maybe he paid him for the right to be able to cash in the Gift of the Gods if he does win it without announcing it a week ahead of time.
Right.
So he could use it as like a surprise, like almost like a Money in the Bank cash in.
Yeah, I like that thought process, man. Good call. But yeah, because to me, it has to be pretty big if Lucha Underground wouldn't let us know about it. Like, I almost feel like maybe a match type would be like, they would just want to get that out of the way just for us to really know, like, oh man, Azteca really stepped in at this time, or whatever. But if it's something bigger, they wouldn't want to show their hand right away. And I think what you're mentioning would be a bigger thing. Like, oh, when I win, I want to trust that you'll be okay with me kind of bending the rules a little bit as far as how this title operates. Right. So Yeah, I like your thought process, man. I really do. What did you think about the cinematic? Because I never really handed it over to you about your thoughts on this.
No, yeah, I loved it, man. I enjoyed it. It was really an entertaining. The idea that Marty got Gift of the Gods shot and something else that we don't know about definitely excites me. And it's just cool to see Marty back, really. Like, it's been too long, you know?
Absolutely, man. So that was Lucha Underground. And do you have any concluding remarks about it?
I don't think so. No, I don't think I have anything else to add. It was fun. It was all good, man. It was all good.
All right, guys. Well, with that said, before we get into our next segment, I just want to very quickly go through things. First and foremost, for those that are new to Lucha Underground or a new Lucha or Lucha Underground reviews, which I know we have a new person in chat that is GSD Animations, you can check out our All Lucha Underground Content Ever playlist. We have covered everything related to Lucha Underground from bell to bell and even done specific series on it, such as Luchador Spotlights and Lucha Rewatches, where we see if we can pick out things that we didn't notice on our first viewing of the episodes throughout all 4 seasons. So be sure to check that playlist out. Be sure to follow Ashton and myself on Twitter. Ashton's pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule for the month of September. So you'll want to keep up with that pinned tweet to see everything going on in the month of September. The latest thing after this will be our Hell in a Cell preview predictions taking place tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's Ashton's pinned tweet. My pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. The next Q&A is going to be September 27th because the Q&A is the last Thursday of every month. So you have exactly 2 weeks to get your questions in. If you haven't already, you can submit them through YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Discord. That's my pinned tweet. Everybody's permitted up to 4 questions per Q&A, and you can divide them up however you like. Be sure to check out the TWitWoW Facebook page and leave a like when you visit. Be sure to check out our Teespring store. We have all wrestling-related merch, shirts, Scum Squad mugs, Scum Squad stickers, anything you can imagine. It's all right there in the Teespring store. Be sure to check that out. And the TWitWoW Patreon, where we offer, for a $3 donation, access to the TWitWoW Discord, the ultimate fan server that pretty much talks about everything from wrestling to video games to everything in between with the most diehard TWitWoW fans. I think it's a great evaluation, only $3 a month for membership, especially considering the Discord access. You get to submit your Q&A questions there, so maybe you get a leg up on everybody else. And if you stick around long enough and you maintain your membership long enough, that $3 accrues, and eventually you'll have enough money to cash in for some content control and give us a Patreon request for a show to review. And we've done several of them in the past on the channel. If you just search Patreon request or Patreon review, you'll see quite a few of them come up on the channel, so you can get your finger on the pulse of how we do those. And again, it's only $3 a month. I think it's a great evaluation, and it helps us here at Team TWitWoW continue the content that we like to produce. Our big goal now on the Patreon, as you'll see in the link below, is we like doing SmackDown Live and 205 Live reviews in a bundle. It comes out to the same evaluation that Progress Live Reactions used to have, $120 a month. So that $3 goes a long way, so please consider donating. With that said, I think I've covered just about everything, so let's get into high spots and low shots. And my low shot's Aerostar, man, because he got his head kicked off.
Yeah, dude. That's the other thing, too, that we didn't really talk about is Phoenix. Not only was he vicious, but he has the best super kick in the business right now.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, for a man that's so whose power is like time travel and looking into the future, he certainly didn't see that coming, did he? So Aerostar is my low shot. Who's your low shot?
My low shot, man, you really did take the best option, but I guess I'll go Evilise. We did complain that, she kind of lost in a very conclusive manner, so she's going to get my low shot for the week.
It makes perfect sense to me. My high spot, you know what? My high spot is going to be Marty the Moth.
Ooh, wow.
He was able to pay his way into a Gift of the Gods championship match, which I've noticed that's become because Johnny Mundo did it first because he's a trendsetter like that. Then Mariposa, then Marty the Moth. So I love the little subtle commentary that there's some classism at work in the temple. If you're rich, you don't have to fight as much as those that are poor. Very, very cool. Very cool. So Marty was able to pay his way to a championship opportunity, and he paid for a little extra, which is unknown to us, but maybe bad news for as El Dragon Azteca Jr., or perhaps more pointedly, the champion currently, Pentagon Dark. So Marty the Moth is my high spot.
You know what, though? I appreciate that because that allows me to take Phoenix as my high spot, because even though he didn't win tonight, he still won in life because he just completely shifted his attitude, and I absolutely love the new Phoenix. Not a big fan of, the shoving Melissa Santos thing, but that is merely a symptom of a much greater problem. Is it really a problem when it's something that I enjoy? I don't know. But the new Phoenix is awesome. I love the new Phoenix, and hopefully the new Phoenix goes on to be anywhere close to as successful as Phoenix has always been in the Temple.
I will say, I understand like your reservations. I think the only reason because even I was like, oh no, that's Melissa, you don't do that. But on a more detached reflection, why I like it is because it really does draw that sharp contrast between this Phoenix and the Phoenix we know, because we always said like the Phoenix that we know would never lay his hands on a woman in any context unless his hand was absolutely forced, like say Mariposa. So This Phoenix doing it pretty much unprovoked when Melissa was showing nothing but concern really is to draw that sharp contrast. This is not the Phoenix you knew. This is a different Phoenix now, and I really do appreciate that. That said, I love that you gave Phoenix the high spot. Do you have any other remarks you want to make about Lucha Underground before we go home?
No, sir.
All right, guys. Then with that said, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-ordinating commentary action. Guys, be sure to comment on this video when it's done processing. What do you think of the new Phoenix? Do you think Marty the Moth's bid for the Gift of the Gods Championship will be successful? And perhaps the biggest question, what was that extra thing that he paid Antonio Cueto for? What favors is he trying to curry from Antonio Cueto, the proprietor of the Temple? Talk to us, talk to us, talk to us. I want to hear your thoughts on all things developing in Lucha Underground. Guys, be sure to like the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top result for Lucha Underground reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like, subscribe if you haven't to your new favorite wrestling podcast, and click the bell icon for notifications so you never have to miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Until then, guys, we'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for Hell in a Cell preview and predictions. We're going to be talking about everything from can Alexa Bliss beat Ronda Rousey the second time around to is it finally time for Night AJ, and everything else going on at Hell in a Cell this Sunday. Again, you'll find your best coverage at TWitWoW at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Be there. I always love our preview and predictions, and I love how energized you guys are. So bring your best, because you know we will. And until then, tune in and peace out.